I get asked a lot about kicking kids out of class.
I'll ask you one last time.
So today I thought I'd talk about the how, the when, and the why we address these situations as a team, and how in doing this, the way that we're doing it has literally changed our school culture forever. Let's get into this one. Look, I realize this can be a really touchy subject for teachers and for schools alike. I also realize that a lot of schools don't allow removing students from class for any reason. You're not allowed to send kids to a counselor or to the principal or whatever. And I want to address at the end of this video, like how a few things you can do to kind of handle that situation. But first I want to talk about how our staff has had such an incredible amount of success with this idea of like kicking, I hate air quotes, but
when people do this, I don't really know what that means.
Kicking kids out of class. So no one's actually kicking anyone, and I don't even know where that term came from. It's so weird. And on the front end, I want you to know that this is a system that was born out of necessity. And it was something that was developed over, a couple of years. So it wasn't something that was just instantly successful or instantly worked. Hear me talk about a few things that I've talked about in previous videos, but I kind of wanted to give you the whole play and see how we run the entire play on this one so that it all makes sense, like connected together. Step one, a student acts out, is off task, or is being extremely disruptive. First, go over to the student, ask them what is happening, ask them if they're doing their work. They let me know yes or no. So it is close proximity. It is addressing the situation directly, not just being close to them and hoping that they get my drift. It's telling them the thing they need to be told so that we are both on the same page. If it happens again, I go over to that same student. I ask if they are refusing to do the assignment, the task, the whatever we are engaged in. That student will then let me know if they are or are not. Sometimes, yes, they do tell me that they are refusing to do it because they think it's dumb or something, in which that's a different conversation. But if a student tells me that they are not refusing, then I remind them what we're supposed to be doing, how much time they have left, and then I try and help them get started. Third time I have to walk over, I now say, listen, Aaron, this is what this conversation is going to sound like with your mom. And then I walk them through the conversation of what it will sound, the email is going to sound like with their parent or guardian. And yes, I'm saying emails because I don't do phone calls unless it is absolutely necessary, but I will link a video below on why I don't do phone calls. So step two, excuse me self, real quick, I want to remind everyone in the middle of this video that on February 1st at 7 p.m. we are running the first session Guide to Classroom Management Workshop Series, where I'm going to run you through my brand new student relationship matrix and show you how you can help even your hardest students to find success in school and beyond. It's only $39. You can sign up below. And if you can't make it to the live, I'll send you the recording. Back to whatever he was talking about. Peace. In this process is if I get to the end of those 3 conversation points and I have a student that still cannot handle being in class, meaning they're threatening someone, there's blatant disrespect, there's like trouble brewing, there's clear signs that a child is upset, like they are clearly depressed or they're crying in class. You suspect that there's like some drug use going on or there's some kind of internal struggle. I call one of 3 teammates that I have created this little pod with. So that might be Miss Cho, our science teacher. It might be Mr. Meeks, the head of our security department, or Mr. Stu, who's like a jack of all trades. He's a one-to-one aide. He's part of our special education team. He's in-class support. He's been a co-teacher. He's like one of those pocket knife teachers. The gig here is I contact them on the low. So I send a text message saying, I need help with Aaron, something going on in class. If someone could come down, I'm in this room. They then come to my room, I answer the door. They say,
hey, do you have Aaron in class?
Yes, I do.
Could I speak with him for a moment?
Certainly. And when we handle it like this, Aaron usually leaves without incident. Why? Because I didn't say, yeah, I need someone to come get Aaron. He's doing whatever he's doing right now. When they get to the room, I go, oh, thank you very much. Aaron, come here, grab your things and come over to the door. I'm not making a spectacle out of it. So typically, Aaron's not even 100% sure why he's going into the hallway right now, but I'm not creating a power struggle and I'm preserving a child's dignity in the moment so they can just leave. Now, how do I pick who I'm gonna call? There's a couple things there. Whoever I'm going to text as part of my 3-person team is either someone that I know has a prep period right now, or they have lunch or something like that. They have availability. The other thing is sometimes it's who's the best fit. So Cho is a very specific type of personality that I might need that kind of energy right now. Might be Meeks, might be Stu. Depends on who I think is the better fit, or if I know that one of those three already has a relationship. All three of these people are very relationship driven. And so we are kind of like brothers and sisters in arms in that. So I do a quick calculation of, have I seen one of them hanging or talking to this kid before? And that's how I kind of pick who's going to work. So as soon as that student leaves, I try to send a quick text letting them know what was going on. Aaron was refusing to do work. I think that him and Bryce were about to get into a fight, or there was something going on there. There was a little bit of bullying. They were feeling upset. They were crying on the low. Whatever it was, I am trying to get a quick just message so they have some sense of what's going on. So if they ask a student, hey, Bryce, what was going on in class today? In Mr. Reynolds' class, heard there was something going on. Typically, students are going to say,
Nothing was happening. I don't know what he was so mad about.
They have something to go on, somewhere to lead the conversation and to get it started. Quick note here. It is our agreement that that child will never, should never rather, be brought back to class without checking in with me and making sure that that child is completely, like 100% back to neutral and ready to enter back in the class. The goal in removing the children from class is not to get them suspended, get them written up, get them in trouble. It is to help them recalibrate. If they can recalibrate in the time that we have left, bring them back to class. What we want is for children to have success. Where they're going to find success is in class. But this is not one of those situations where someone talks to them real quick and then just puts them back in class, tells them to be better, and then they're not. We need kids to be recalibrated so they can enter back in and get back to work. Step 3, this is the one that like nobody does. And it is the reason the first 2 steps work is step 3. Step 3 is the follow-up. Putting kids out is not about outsourcing your problems. It is not about giving somebody else your troubles and letting them deal with it. Sending a student out of class has more to do with 1, giving you the time and space to teach the other 29 kids you have in class without an overwhelming amount of distraction. 2, as I said before, it's about preserving a child's dignity, sending them out of class so that they can get the help that they need so that they can enter back into class as quickly as possible to get back to work. So the follow-up looks like this. I will, after class at some point, I will meet up with whoever I called to my room. So if Miss Cho comes and gets a student, I will go and find Cho, ask what was going on. Try and get a gist of like what that student was talking about, maybe where some of this trouble was coming from. Maybe they were getting picked on in class. Maybe I didn't call on them. Maybe I wasn't helping them enough. Maybe they didn't understand the assignment. Whatever that was in the eyes of the child, she is sharing that with me. Then we make a plan. What are we going to do about this? Is this something we've seen before? Is this something we're seeing in a lot of classes? Is this something new? Is this something we need to talk to the counselor about, the assistant principal about, the dean about, the social worker about? So we will make a plan. And sometimes that plan is as simple as just the 2 of us following up with that student. I never follow up with a student on my own. I always follow up so nothing's lost in translation. And I want the student to see that we are a team of individuals working to help you at the highest level. It is our rule that that kid cannot come back to class until that meeting has happened. So I will move heaven and earth to make sure that that happens. So maybe that happens during my lunch, during their lunch, during a study hall, right after school really quickly. But we make sure that there is some quick meeting, a check-in, so we can say, like, I can talk to them about, this is what I was seeing in my class today, and this is where I think there was some trouble, or this is why I was upset, or this is why you were removed. And then providing that student time and space to speak back without me talking. I am simply listening. And then we have a mediator there to help us figure out what went wrong, and the most important step, what we are going to do next. So should this problem arise tomorrow, is there a better place that you could be seated? Is there someone that you don't want to sit near? Do I need to explain things again? Do you need a break to step out and take a breath for a second? Whatever that plan is, we come up with it together. So in this moment, there's not a kid that's just getting in trouble. We are actively working on a plan to help you find success and plan for the future should this happen again. And so you're empowering the student by asking what they need, not just telling them what they need. They are being empowered to say what they need so that when you go back in, it's not just a dictatorship, this is a partnership. Then, before that meeting is over, I let the student know that I'm going to email home. I don't want this to be a mystery. I then email home and tell the parent or guardian this is what happened in class today. We then met together. Bryce and Aaron shared their voice, and we came up with a plan together to make sure that this doesn't happen again, or what we're going to do the next time that something does arise in class. And then always asking the parent for help. Is this something that you've seen before? Is there something that you've seen in school or at home that has worked to help de-escalate Aaron before? Are there certain kids that you know you'd rather them not sit next to in class? Like it's their cousin or their best friend or something like that. You're asking for parental involvement as well, which is making this a whole communal effort. It is multiple teachers, it is the student, it is the parents, all working together to come up with the best plan of action for their student to succeed in school. And then on that email, making sure I CC anyone that is necessary, right? Because this becomes a documentation, it's in writing, right? So if there's someone from the special education team, if there's the principal, the vice principal, whoever else might need to be involved in this so that all parties are aware. So should this happen again, we just know that it's covered and that everyone's on the same page. I can hear this question already. So before you go, I want to talk really quickly about what do you do if you don't have the freedom to create something like this? Or your school just tells you that you're not allowed to have a system that works like this. So when I say we created this, we literally created. There's always the meetings at the school, and then there's the meeting that happens after the meeting, which is sometimes where the best answers come from. So we as a small group of individuals created this little system that did spread out into most of the schools. Some people weren't interested in it, but for the majority of us, like this is what we did. We began doing as a school and saw really great success with it. If you are not allowed to do something like this, or you don't think that your school's policy is very clear or works very well, I would implore you to respectfully go to your administration and ask what the process is. Tell them what the issue is, and then let them share with you as the leaders what this should look like when it's happening. If it doesn't make sense or the system seems impractical, make sure they ask follow-up questions or ask them to define it in a different way or point out why it doesn't work. The next step to this would be come up with your own system. Work with your team, work with your grade level, work with your other teachers, and see if there's a plan that you can come up with that you can then present to administration. Admin has a lot of problems every day. And so bringing a solution rather than just a problem can go a really long way because it gives administration sometimes either a jumping off point or something to sign off on so they don't have to recreate the wheel that you've already created. Thanks for staying until the end. Please hit the thumbs up button and make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed, and share this with someone if you know someone on your team might need it. See you next time, gang. Peace.